A young girl went to her room, only to vanish without a trace. Police immediately launched a massive search operation, deploying drones, helicopters, and numerous volunteers. Despite their relentless efforts, no clues emerged in the initial days. However, on the third day, a startling twist turned this case into a national headline. Athena Strand was born on May 25, 2015, in the small American town of Duncan, Oklahoma. Her parents divorced soon after, with her father moving to Texas while Athena stayed with her mother. Despite the separation, her father maintained regular contact and visited whenever he could. Sometimes, Athena's mother even brought her to visit him. They managed to co-parent amicably. Ensuring Athena spent ample time with both parents, Athena's mother remarried, and her father also found a new partner. Athena became an elder sister to two younger siblings with whom she shared a close bond. Athena was a happy child, always bringing joy to those around her with her positive attitude. She loved playing outside and making the most of her time in nature. In late 2022, at the age of 7, she moved to Texas temporarily to live with her father until the New Year holidays, after which she would return to her mother in Oklahoma. During this period, Athena attended a local elementary school. Her father's house was nestled in a remote rural area, surrounded by forests and fields, an environment Athena cherished. She also got along well with her father's new wife, Elizabeth. On November 30th, Athena returned from school at around 4:15 p.m., as usual. Her father and grandfather were out hunting, leaving Athena at home with Elizabeth. That evening, Athena was in a bad mood, leading to an argument with Elizabeth. Upset, Athena stormed off to her room while Elizabeth went to the kitchen to prepare dinner. About 20 minutes later, Elizabeth went to call Athena for dinner, only to find her room empty. She searched the entire house and even checked outside, but Athena was nowhere to be found. Panicked, Elizabeth called her husband's relatives who lived nearby, hoping Athena might have gone there, but they hadn't seen her. She then called her husband, who instructed her to contact the police immediately. Elizabeth dialed 911 at around 6:40 p.m., and officers arrived within 14 minutes. She explained the situation, suggesting that Athena might have run away due to their argument. However, the family doubted this theory. Athena was only 7 and had never strayed far from home before. It was already dark outside, and Athena was afraid of the dark. Initially, the police were suspicious of Elizabeth, especially since she reported Athena missing 40 minutes after discovering her absence. But after hearing her account of searching the house and contacting relatives, they believed she was telling the truth. Officers quickly began searching the surrounding area, despite the darkness. They combed the forests and fields within several kilometers of the house, operating under the assumption that Athena might have wandered off and gotten lost in the dark. They also considered the possibility of abduction, but found no evidence to support this. There were no signs of forced entry, no noises or screams heard by Elizabeth, and none of the neighbors had seen anything suspicious that evening. Relatives and community members joined the police in the search. Athena's mother rushed to Texas as soon as she heard the news. The search continued until nearly 5 a.m. without any success. The challenging terrain, particularly difficult to navigate at night, further complicated the situation. The search resumed at 7 a.m. with increased manpower. News of Athena's disappearance spread throughout the area, drawing hundreds of volunteers. Some searched on horseback and ATVs, while police employed drones and helicopters equipped with thermal cameras. Unfortunately, the second day ended without finding Athena. The onset of winter added to the urgency, as temperatures in Texas, though typically mild, had dropped to around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Considering Athena was lightly dressed, surviving in such conditions would be tough. On the third day, the search area was extended to 10 kilometers around the house, and more officers were brought in to investigate any potential criminal aspects. Although there was no initial evidence of abduction, doubts about Athena leaving on her own grew. The extensive searches yielded no sign of her, and it seemed unlikely she could have traveled far without encountering a populated area. Investigators worked to identify everyone in the vicinity of Athena's home that evening. This task was challenging due to the house's secluded location, surrounded by trees and set back from the main road. Additionally, there were no surveillance cameras in the area. Despite these obstacles, they quickly uncovered a significant lead. On the evening of Athena's disappearance, a delivery had been made to the house by a courier service. Investigators contacted FedEx, who confirmed that an independent contractor delivered the package. They traced the specific van that had been at Athena's home that night. Fortunately for the police, every such vehicle was equipped with a surveillance camera, and they immediately requested footage from November 30th. Rewinding to the time when the van approached the house, investigators saw very disturbing scenes. They saw the driver dragging a girl who looked like Athena into the vehicle. They quickly identified the driver with the help of the company. The man was 31-year-old Tanner Horner, and the police headed to his address. Soon he was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and taken in for questioning. Once the investigators mentioned they had video footage, Horner began to talk. He admitted that he was indeed delivering a package to Athena's house that evening. While reversing his van, he felt a bump and got out to see what it was. Horner saw the girl on the ground and realized he had accidentally hit her with his vehicle. Approaching her, he noticed she had no serious injuries. She was conscious, not crying, and even spoke to him. According to Horner, she said she would tell her father about the incident, which made him panic. He then led the girl into the van, trying to figure out how to handle the situation. She continued talking to him, mentioning her name was Athena. Horner didn't know what to do. He understood that if the girl reported the incident to adults, he could face legal consequences. What Horner told the investigators next left them bewildered. He claimed he could think of nothing better than to kill her. Initially, he tried to break her neck but failed. Then he strangled her, took her body to a river near a neighboring town, and dumped it in the water. This version of events raised significant questions for the police, but Horner indicated the exact location where he left Athena. Investigators went there immediately and indeed found her body. The news of the girl's murder shocked not only her relatives, but also thousands of people across the country. By that time, the case was being covered by all major media, and people were horrified by such brutality. After finding the body, Horner was charged with kidnapping and murder. While awaiting the medical examiner's report, detectives began thoroughly investigating the suspect's background to better understand his motives. Horner's account seemed entirely implausible. He claimed to have lightly hit the girl with the van without causing any serious injuries. Yet, he was so frightened that he immediately decided to kill her. Considering that hitting a child without causing injuries would likely result in nothing more than dismissal, Horner's story appeared very strange. Police found that Horner was engaged, had a child born a year before the incident, and sometimes worked as an Uber driver in addition to delivering packages. Horner also played music in a band that performed at various cafes in the nearby city of Fort Worth. On social media, he posted many photos with his child, snapshots from musical performances, and other everyday images that didn't paint him as a monster. Until his arrest, he had no criminal record. In his entire biography, police didn't find any hints that he was a violent killer. Just 2 months before Athena's death, Horner posted pictures spending time with his son and the child's grandparents. The wait for the medical examiner's report, which was supposed to shed light on the real picture of the events, dragged on for several weeks. Meanwhile, Athena's parents sued FedEx and the contracting company, blaming them for allowing Horner to work. They demanded higher screening and selection standards to avoid such crimes in the future. Soon, a heartbreaking detail emerged. The package Horner delivered that evening was a Christmas gift for Athena. Her parents had ordered a Barbie doll she had long wanted. When the medical examiner's conclusion became public, even more questions arose. According to the report, the victim died within the first hour after the abduction. Her body showed various injuries, and the cause of death was strangulation. However, the detectives' main theory didn't hold up. They believed Horner had seen the girl by the house and decided to kidnap her to assault her. But the medical examiners found no evidence of sexual violence. This puzzled the police, as that motive seemed the most obvious. None of them were convinced that the events unfolded according to the suspect's story, as it made no sense. Investigators then hypothesized that the perpetrator initially intended to assault the girl, but something went wrong. According to the detectives, after an argument with her stepmother, Athena went outside and was in the yard. At the same time, Horner drove up to deliver the package and noticed the girl. They theorized that he saw an opportunity to fulfill his twisted fantasies. Athena was alone near a house surrounded by trees, completely isolated from prying eyes. Horner might have tricked the girl into the van or deliberately hit her to put her in the vehicle without resistance. What happened next is unclear. There are two main theories that seem most logical. Horner might have planned to take the girl far from home to carry out his plan, but she either started screaming or tried to escape. Fearing capture, the man killed her and then took the body to the river. The second theory suggests that Horner might have committed some lewd acts on the victim that didn't involve direct contact, in which case the medical experts wouldn't have been able to detect sexual violence. Shortly, detectives uncovered indirect and unexpected evidence suggesting that this crime could indeed have had a sexual motive. Horner had no prior run-ins with the law, which is quite rare. Most people capable of taking another's life usually start with much lesser crimes. For weeks, detectives meticulously studied Horner's biography. They spoke with his relatives, friends, and acquaintances, trying to find any hints that he might be connected to other crimes. Finally, they had a breakthrough. Police found several individuals who revealed they had suffered because of Horner when they were children. The police did not disclose their identities or details of the incidents to preserve the integrity of the investigation. However, one victim accused Horner of assaulting her 9 years ago. Additionally, Horner was charged with 3 more incidents involving minors in 2013. It's unclear if these charges involve one child or 3 different victims. But there's more. One of Horner's victims had been publicly speaking out for years about the abuse she endured at 16. She wrote about it on social media, trying to make people understand that Horner was a dangerous criminal. For some reason, Horner faced no consequences for his actions and wasn't even considered a suspect. The girl, who had been accusing him all these years, said no one believed her. However, after Horner killed Athena, her accusations received much more attention. They revealed the true nature of this man and his possible motives. Now, Horner will also be tried for these 4 incidents, separately from the trial for Athena's murder. There's another detail, seemingly insignificant on its own, but revealing in the context of Horner's crimes. Once his identity became public, internet users discovered his TikTok account. There were only a few videos, but the last one, filmed a few weeks before the murder, was particularly interesting. In this video, Horner reacted to a clip of someone catching a bug in a cup and slowly poisoning it with a spray can. Watching the bug die, a creepy expression appeared on Horner's face, as if he genuinely enjoyed the process. If Horner was indeed a sadist who derived pleasure from witnessing death, it casts further doubt on his version of Athena's murder. Horner claimed that he killed her out of fear of being punished for a lesser crime. But if he had such sadistic tendencies, his story seems even more implausible. During the trial preparation, authorities announced they would seek the death penalty. Horner hired a lawyer who advised him to retract his confession and plead not guilty. However, this is unlikely to help him evade punishment. Given that the police have a van recording and Horner's testimony about the exact location of the body, his guilt is evident. Furthermore, additional evidence may emerge during the trial's proceedings. Most likely, Athena's DNA traces were found in the van, and forensic material from her clothes and body could have been collected to link back to the killer.